Well, hello there and good morning. Today is the most awesome day of the week. Friday. Finally, it's Friday. Yes, it's Friday, May 8th. Today, we have to work with phonology, listening, and we're going to be working with STEAM. But also, today, we're going to have a live special session. So make sure to check the link so you can connect. Okay, we're gonna have a special session today. Make sure to please connect. It is important. All right. I'll send the link. Don't worry, you already have it. You probably, when you're already watching this video, you probably already have the link there in the algebraics messages. So today is Friday, May 8th. Yay! Excellent. Like I said, we're going to be working with listening and STEAM. But first things first, what's up, kids? I hope you're doing fine. I hope you're doing great. I mean, you're just a few minutes away from relaxing and resting the whole weekend. What better thing could it be? But now, let's get down to business. We have to do work and we have to finish it. So let me share my screen with you. Woo, perfect. Listening, it's going to be pages 26 and 27, like we have in here. And it says, worth the risk. We're still talking about this thing that we're seeing in Think Tank. Risk. Is something worth the risk? What would you consider worth a risk? What about if they tell you, hey, if you jump from the bungee, I'll give you $1,000, but you're scared of heights. Would you do it? Is it worth the risk? Are you going to be able to overcome your fear because they're giving you a good amount of money? Maybe for some of you would be like, oh, hell yes, I'll do it. Of course I'll do it. It's worth the risk. But maybe for some of you, it's going to be like, oh no, not even for $1,000 I'll do it. I mean, I'm scared of falling down and dying. So maybe for some of you, it's worth the risk. And maybe for some of you, it's not worth the risk. It's not worth it. Now, you have to listen to track 8. And you're going to be able to answer the questions that we have here. But let's see what it's all about of this. It says, warm up. The Tomb Raiders in the course of the ancient tomb took a risk to get the riches of the tomb. Share a story about a risk you have taken or a risk that you would like to take. Have you taken a risk already? I know some of you have. For example, Anna took a risk. My dear Anna took a risk. And she kept asking me, do you think it's worth it? Do you think I have to do it? I told her, do what your heart tells you to do. In the end, it is your decision. It is your life. Just make sure that you are completely honest about what you want to do. And if it's something that you want to do, if it's worth the risk, then do it. Because chances, they don't happen too often. They never happen 2 times. And if they do, well, then you're an extremely lucky person. Usually, chances only happen 1 time in life. The opportunities only happen 1 time in life. So you have to take them. You have to take the risk. Now, if you have taken a risk, remember what risk was it? And if not, what risk would you like to take? Is there something you would like to try, even if it could be risky? Think about it. Then, after we did the warm-up, like I said, you need to listen to track 8. And then we have these questions. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beautiful questions. Let's see the first one. What is this conversation mostly about? You have to pay attention to the track. What are the steps Pierre must take before attending the trip? When is Pierre's class? What are 3 words you would use to describe Pierre and why? I would describe Pierre as maybe strong, maybe dumb, Oh, he's wise. He is funny. And why? Okay. Then number 5. What are 3 words you would use to describe Catalina? I would describe Catalina as intelligent, as pretty, as strong, and why. Okay, you have to think about, obviously, all these adjectives that you're going to be using are according to what you hear in the listening. Understood? As you can see, this activity is quite easy. You only have to pay attention to the listening and answer according to it. After that, look, a turtle, so cute. We go to page 27. Worth the risk. It says, speaking, listen to the conversation between 2 students again, then answer the questions. There are no questions to answer because you already did it above. Then this part is going to be entertaining. Why? It says, get into a group of 4 people. Sadly, we don't have a group of 4 people. You're going to do it by yourself. Brainstorm a list of many risky activities as you can. Think of as many risky activities that you can, and you have to write them down here. Write all the risky activities that you can imagine. For example, I think of jumping from an airplane with a parachute, bungee jumping, laying down on a bed of nails, walking over the fire. I don't know, snake charming. Okay, risky activities that you can think about. Swimming in the ocean when you know it's shark season. Something like that. I don't know. You have to think of risky activities. Can be physically that put your body, your physique in risk, or can be risky in other ways. What other ways? For example, trying to solve a theory about black holes. It's not something that is going to put your body in risk, but maybe it's something that is going to be too risky for your brain because it's too much information to process, it's too much knowledge, too much work that your brain is going to be doing that you can stress out. Maybe that's another way to get in risk, okay? Think of as many as you can, and write them down in here. I don't want 2, I don't want 3, I want as many as you can. Minimum, I need 6. Minimum 6 risky activities. If you write more, perfect. Then, after you do that, in this case, sorry about the black thingy. In this case, I will need mom or dad to help you. Maybe your brother, maybe your sister, whoever you have. Obviously that they are older than you, so they can help you. Because you're going to debate with them. Why? How? You're going to choose one of those risky activities, the one that you want, the one that you prefer. And then you're going to debate with mom, dad, whoever is there with you, and tell them, explain the benefits and the dangers of doing that risky activity. You, my student, have to support your opinion. You have to be completely sure about what you're saying. I think this activity needs to be done. I need to do snake charming because the benefit is that I'm going to be able to charm snakes and learn how to do it without problems. And that is going to be an experience that I want and I need. The risk is that I can get bitten by a snake and I can probably die. Yeah, like that. And then your mom or your dad is going to be like, you're crazy, you're bananas. That's not worth it. Why? Because you can die, just like you said. You can get this, you can get that. Maybe you could do this other thing. Maybe you have to get into a debate, and you somehow need to make mom or dad or whoever is there with you to understand that that activity has its benefits and also its dangers. Or maybe mom and dad are going to make you understand that that activity is not worth the risk. Okay? I need you to do the debate with mom or dad or whoever is there with you, because with that, you're going to answer the last part of the work of listening, self-assessment. In what ways your debate is similar to and different from other classmate debates? We're not here to compare with other classmates because you're not in school. But remember, we have done debates before, like when we were debating about supporting Donald Trump's ideas and all that stuff. We have done many debates before when we were doing the trial for Donald Trump. You remember that some of you were in favor, some of you were against. Also, when we were doing it with Mr. President Grayson, um, all this stuff, we have done debates before. How is it similar to the debates we have done at school? And how is it different at the same time? The debate that you're having with mom and dad, how is it different or similar? And then, if you were the teacher, what comments would you give about your debate? Imagine you're me. What would you say to yourself? Hey, you know what, Peas, you know what, your debate needs to be, it needs to have more ideas. It needs to have more supporting ideas because it wasn't good enough. You know, your mom was able to tell you that the idea was not worth it in no time because your ideas were not good enough. Maybe Beas is going to say that to herself, imagining that she's the teacher. I don't know. Edu is going to be like, Edu, uh, you know, Dennis Rothman is better than Michael Jordan because of this, and that. Your ideas were not good enough because you didn't say how many championships Michael Jordan won and why he's considered one of the best basketball players. Stuff like that. You need to imagine what would you say to yourself if you were the teacher. And that's pretty much all the work of listening. Then we go to STEM. Don't worry, the work of today is quite easy. You're gonna have fun. We're gonna be using a little bit of mathematics. It's only multiplications, that's it. Quite easy. But what we need is a die. A die, so we can roll it. Let's pay attention to this process. It's quite easy. We're going to be doing the following. It's population growth. We're going to see how it connects, how it happens. We're going to start with the number 2. That is a given. We start with the number 2 like you have it in here. The number 2 is the beginning of everything. Why? Because imagine that it's going to be mom and dad, 2 persons. Okay, and then you're going to grab the die, roll it, and then the number that appears, you're going to write it down in here. I don't know, for example, I rolled my die, and the number that appeared was 4. So I write down here 4. 2 times 4 is, I feel like Dora the Explorer. Yes, 8. 2 times 4 is 8. So we write down here 8. Okay, perfect. So from my step 1, the product was 8. Okay, good. Now, I write down here in step 2, the product, the number 8. 8 goes in here again. And then I roll the die again. And now the number was, I don't know, 2. I write down here 2, and I multiply 8 times 2. 8 times 2 is going to be equal to 16. And then again, I have to do the process again. 16 goes here, I roll the die, and then I multiply and get a new product. Then that product goes at the beginning, I roll the die, I multiply, and I get a new product. The same 5 times, because you have to do the 5 steps. Now, after the 5 steps, what is your final number? We need to write down the final number. Why? Why are we doing this? Okay. In the 18,000s, 1,800, there were about 1 billion people on Earth. Only 1 billion, not that much. Now there are almost 8 billion people in Earth. 7 billion more. In what? Less than 200 years? Well, a little bit more than 200 years. 7 billion people more in a little bit more of 200 years. That's a lot. How do you think this activity is similar to the increase of people in Earth? We start with only 2 persons, mom and dad. Let's not go with mom and dad. Let's suppose your grandparents. Then they had a number of kids, 4 kids maybe. In total, those 4 kids are gonna get married, and then they're gonna have their own kids, and then it's gonna be double. It's gonna be 8 because they got married. So they're not 4 anymore, they're gonna be 8 because one gets married with this one, the other gets married with this one, and so on. 8. And then they have kids. And those kids are gonna get married. And then they are gonna have kids. And so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. So from 2 people, then out of nowhere, you have a lot of people. So this activity, yes, it does have to do something with population growth. Because depending on how many kids, those kids are probably going to get married, and those kids that got married are probably going to have, well, not kids anymore. Those are going to get married, they're going to have their own kids, and then when they grow up, they're going to get married and they have their own kids, and so on and on and on and on. And that's how it is. That's how population grows. That's why, remember, in China, it is prohibited to have more than 1 kid. They can only have 1 kid. The government said no more, only 1 by family. That's why all the Chinese people come to Mexico, because they don't have that kind of situations in Mexico. They're like, oh yeah, no problem at all. Maybe we should do that, you know? Maybe we should be like, you know what? No more than 2 kids. That's it. Why? The law says it. No more than 2 kids, and we could keep the population less. Remember that if the population grows, we're going to have something like in, we talk about it actually, the Thanos idea of why he is not that evil, doing the snap of the fingers and then erasing half of the population of the universe. Why is it not a crazy idea? Because natural resources, as we have seen, they will end if population keeps on growing. But if the population is halved, then the natural resources are going to be enough for that half of population. And the natural resources will be able to somehow renew themselves little by little and not end. So these kind of ideas, we have already talked them. They were complicated to talk. We had a debate about it. That's the idea. But yeah, population growth is something that is affecting our planet. It's affecting our natural resources, and we have to do something about it. So this activity has to do about it, okay? And last but not least, vocabulary. All you're going to do is listen to track 35 and learn the new vocabulary. Practice your pronunciation. You already know. Say the word, and after you say it, use it in the, well, use the definition. That's it. That's all the work for today, my kids. Game's on. We're gonna skip it. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. So let's summarize the work of today. Listening, you have to listen to the track, you have to answer the questions, and then you have to make a list of risky situations. Once you make the list of risky situations, you're going to choose one, and you're going to tell mom or dad to make a debate with you to see the benefits and dangers of that risky situation. Then you complete the self-assessment according to that, and after that we move to STEAM. In STEAM, you're going to play with a die. You're going to start with the number 2, then multiply it by the number that you had in the die, and then write a product. Then use the product in step 2, roll the die, multiply it, and you get a new product, and so on. Once you finish that, you get a final number, you write it down, and you have to write down why this activity of the die is similar to human population growth. After that, you go to page 146, and you're going to be working with new vocabulary in STEAM. That's all. You have to listen to the track, repeat the word, repeat the definition. That's all. As you can see, your Friday is going to be quite easy, quite calm. Congratulations, you made it to another week. I'm really proud of you, really proud of your work. Rest, relax, send me your work, and that's it. Have an amazing weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Take care. Love you all. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Peace out. Teacher Roy is out. Bye bye.